Hello. We're live. We're very, very live. Yes, it's. Oh, I need to turn that on. Hello, everyone. Generic Live Show episode 18, recorded on the 4th of February 2015. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes. What am I doing? My voice is so sore. I've done nothing but talk this week. 2 more shows to do this week, and then I'm done. I'm done for the week. Alright, so let me pull up the post I was doing earlier. I might, well, I suppose then the AOL conversations later. There we go. Alright. So that's the YouTube page. So I've just posted that, so there you go. And we've just gone live. So, alrighty. It's a shame that I have to constantly click that to have it go. Anyway, we're going to do this. I'm going to do it in 3. My back hurts. 3, 2. Old Man Campbell strikes again. I don't know what that voice was. Alrighty. Dale strikes again. Alright. It begins in 3, 2, 1. Hello everyone and welcome back to Generic Live Show. This is Generic Live Show episode 18. It is recorded the 4th of February 2015. I'm Dale Campbell, delivering your weekly dose of genericness from around Australia and the world. Thank you everyone for joining me. Sorry I didn't have a show last week. February's going to be weird. February's going to be very weird for the show. It's going to be all over the place, so I do apologize, but this is a show where we deliver the genericness from around Australia and the world, and we've got a huge show today, and we really need to be on time, considering it's already 10:33, and we're already running behind. We can't afford to, so let's just kick it off with this. Yes, you thought, your people thought. Think the new Shield helicarrier Lego just unveiled was big? Well, it kind of is. But just at over 30 inches, it's less than half the size of the stunning fan-built Lego USS Enterprise. This model is the work of genius Lego builder Chris Medley. It took him 8 months to build from start to finish, and he figures it required just north of 18,000 bricks to complete. When it was all said and done, Chris said, quote, was finally satisfied had represented this iconic vessel that he can only represent this vessel. It was truly a mind-blowing tribute. Amazingly, the 5-foot 8-inch span is particularly stud-free. You can make it out of the middle of a wrap nickel, and it is barely noticeable. So just start at the middle and work your way to the edge. That's exactly how I described my Saturday nights, but that's okay. Next up, Take Two is Interactive Grand Theft Auto. It's a gift that keeps on giving this holiday season, which is not necessarily holiday season because, well, it's always holiday season if it's the gift that keeps on giving. The 5th installment of the popular game franchise, which players admit should turn off their phones while broadcasting a Google Hangout. which lets players commit crimes and perform other strange and outlandish activities in a virtual reconstruction of Los Angeles, performed well over the holidays, with 45 million total units sold, the company said on Tuesday, despite its original release date 17 months ago. Take-Two subsidiary Rockstar Games released the game first on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 consoles back in September of 2013, knowing full well that it could re-release the game as an updated version for the newer game hardware the following year. That newer version accumulated $10 million in sales in just a month and a half since the November release. GTA 5, as it's called, is the fast-selling piece of entertainment in history when it first came out, earning $1 billion in 3 days. The decision to release the game twice is proving that Take-Two's biggest financial boons to date help pulling the company well past Wall Street expectations in its fiscal third quarter earnings, reported this Tuesday. I should have really got the earnings call, but yeah, that would require work, and who wants to do work? As esports continues to grow, so too does the walls of life who participate. There is something that League of Legends tournament organizer in the Philippines has seemingly failed to recognize with the announcement of its quote-unquote upcoming all-feminine event dubbed the Iron Solary. In Giarna, Philippines outline, it says that it is having open discussions with members of the LGBT community about whether or not gay or transgendered women can participate or should be allowed to participate. Why is that? Fears of an unfair advantage. Now stay with me here as I read to you this really obnoxious quote. Here goes. Quote, for any events we do, we always want to make sure we have able to have an inclusive environment where no one feels left out, and of course for everyone to enjoy. On this angle, we believe that allowing more eligible to join us is obviously the answer, and as many of our female teams are expressed. On the other hand, for any competitives, we seriously look at ensuring there's a fair level playing field for all participants. And there are arguments and concerns from other participants who dispute that lesbian, gay, transgendered women may probably have somewhat of a an unfair advantage. What a crock of shit. I'm sorry, but I don't like swearing on the show. But what a crock of shit. Like, really, like, you think that because someone is transgender, they're going to have an unfair advantage in playing a League of Legends game. Okay, then, that's not... I don't know how you put 2 and 2 together there, but I think what they're saying is that they're not letting transgender people play because it's an unfair advantage. That I don't buy. What I do buy is that if someone already plays competitively, I thought my door was open. If someone plays competitively, or if someone kind of knows the game and has been around, sure, you can pen, and they just happen to be transgender. That is unfortunate on their part. But going, all right, we're going to ban gay, we're going to ban gay, ban lesbian, we're going to gay lesbian, we're going to ban lesbians, we're going to ban transgender people, just based on the fact that they are those categories, is unfair in and of itself. I don't see how they could have a unfair advantage. BTW, I want to point out for the record, just because I'm gay doesn't mean I know how to play League of Legends. Anyway, moving on. Before we get too dug down into depressed land in that topic. Much publicity is designated to stopping people from texting while driving. Okay, you're thinking to yourself, that is not news, Dale. However, the potential hazards of mobile gadgets may now have extended to taking selfies while piloting a plane. Yes, you have heard those words right. Last May, a Cessna 150K crashed near Front Range Airport in Watkins, Colorado. COLO. Don't know what that's meant to mean. 2 people aboard were killed, unfortunately, and it is Colorado because it says a CBS Denver reports. The National Transportation Safety Board has just issued its report. The NTSB says a GoPro camera was found amid Siestra's wreckage. Investigators went through the footage recorded on the device. But the pilot, 29-year-old April Singuru, his passengers were taking selfies on their phones. That means you do not take selfies while piloting a plane. If you didn't know that before tonight, then you really have walked away with the show learning a lot. And finally, despite an endless run of electronic versions of the game, there is still nothing more satisfying than sitting around a table with friends playing the original board game version of Monopoly. Except, as it turns out, there is still actually one thing more satisfying. If you're living in France and buying a new copy of the game and discovering it comes with around $30,000 cash, not fake Monopoly money, real Euro cash goodness. So keep that in mind. You got that going for you, so there you go. To celebrate the 80th anniversary of the game in France, Hasbro has decided to replace the game's fake currency with actual euros. And 80 lucky board game enthusiasts will find their copy of Monopoly packed with 20,580 euros in varying denominations of euros that can be played or, more likely, immediately deposited into a bank. Hasbro will secretly releasing 10 random sets with 300 secretly stashed inside and 69 sets with 150 stashed away. While the very special editions of the game aren't any heavier than the ones with fake money, they can actually be a little thicker as a result of all that cash. So expect to see news of hordes of people ambushing toy stores in France by squeezing all copies of Monopoly they can get their hands on. I actually 30,000, a bit extremist, but that's okay. So there's that. I don't know what that question's meant to mean. Thank you, I'm very cool, and thank you for watching, Max. Cool, whoever you are. I don't know what that question's meant to mean. But anyway, we are actually taking live questions tonight. Actually, hang on. Let me end my headline section. Where is it? There it is. We are actually taking live questions from what I like to call it as the floor, but I do not like to refer to them as the floor. But we are taking live questions from our audience. So if you saw the Google Plus post for this hangout on social media, make sure you do go into that site. Make sure you do ask any questions about the topic that we are discussing, or any other questions that you may have, and we will get to them eventually tonight. Just go to the post for this, the hangout post for this that you saw on social media, and do lodge your question in there. We do appreciate it. Drink break time, though, as we are moving forward with the episode, we are talking about, unfortunately, AOL laying off about 150 key staff members in the sales department and shutting down not shutting down. But yeah, no, actually, I will say shutting down because they are technically shut down in their pure form. They are being shut down and folded into existing products. And that's like, yep, that is the topic. I originally I originally was going to put it in the headlines, but I'm like, okay, there's a broader conversation here, and yes, Mum, I didn't know you're here. I was going to say your real name, but I thought I'd better not. But this folding, this firing of blog staff and sales staff of AOL actually leads a broader conversation of technology choices and media choices in 2015 and the array of sections the selections that we have. Let me first get into this story and the different elements that it has, and let me then branch off into that conversation. So AOL laid off 150 people with sales. Part of it also came consolidating websites. AOL Autos has already been folded into Autoblog. That happened prior to this shutdown and in conjunction with another shutdown. The Verge reported today that both tech blogs were being closed. They were actually originally being closed, but they are now being folded into existing properties, which is good. But that means still job cuts, 150 AOL plus blogging staff. But the unofficial Apple Watch, is that what that is? TUAW. What is it? I don't know what that's. The unofficial Apple web blog. Yeah, so that is what it is. That is folding into a quote unquote bigger site. So there you go. The news was coming ahead of AOL's Q4 earnings report on February 11th. Quote, as we look to 2015, our strategies and decision will be driving by following organizing principles, CEO Tim Armstrong said during November's earnings calls. Number one, we'll focus on our capital allocation, resources management, and management time against scaled access and platforms. Two, we'll organize our asset portfolio around a scaled value and scaled growth assets. Three, we'll simplify everything that can be simplified. In Q3, AOL made $454.5 million from advertising revenues, which worked out to about 73% of its all 626 million revenues for that quarter. But if you look at the company's profit, it is currently driven by not only advertising with the business, but its subscription revenues, i.e. its legendary dial-up business and other paid services. The membership group posted an adjustment operating income of 139.2 million, while platforms posted an operating loss of 600,000, and the Bragg Group adjusted income of just over 17 million. Which is not great, but it's okay. Not the operating costs. You can see why they kind of scaled it back, and you can see why they're trying to trim things back to make it easier, quote unquote, easier for us. And another post by SiliconAngle.com. I don't know how reputable the site is, but it seems to confirm a lot of the stuff that the TechCrunch article said. On January 30th, massively editor-in-chief Diana Boyce, otherwise known as Bree to Play, and in a tweet by Joystick news content director Alexandra Shawinski, by saying, official Joystick is no more. Got some talented people looking for work, please retweet. Pass to HR LinkedIn staff list, and he posts a link to the staff list there. We have had somewhat of an update there, so the rest of this article is basically reminiscent about the Joystick shutting down. Joystick is not necessarily shutting down. Its folded process started this week. It has now folded into Engadget, which makes my job a lot easier, but narrows down the competition. It now kind of folds it into one instead of having two different things. Engadget never really had a gaming department per se, but it's being run as a separate entity under the Engadget brand and the Engadget logo. So it's being launched there essentially, and it's being rebranded, and it's brand new stuff for them, which is nice. It's a brave new world for them. But going back to the original statement, let's see. While TUAW and Joystick have both long-lasting reputations and brands in the tech world, their traffic has been in decline. Both come to AOL and its acquisition of weblogs in 2005. At the time, the group operated some 90 blogs. So 90 blogs they've operated since 2005. Just doing some quick. Well, I'm doing some quick reading. Hang on. Anyway. But no, I'm trying to find out how many blogs they have under their category now. I don't know, but they have sites including they don't actually say. They don't actually say. That is helpful. You know what, AOL, if you're going to say, if you want to put your portfolio out there, make sure you actually put your portfolio out there. That would help. But anyway, they have TechCrunch, Engadget, Moviefone, Combro, Stylus. The group have a 20,000 pro, including positive. So yeah. I don't know. I mean, and this broader conversation about media choices in 2015. I know, even from, let's look at the last 10 years, for example. Let's look at 10 years as a whole. Let's look at it as a whole. We have way more content choices than what we used to have before, and that's mainly because of bandwidth being upgraded and more kind of more media choices because of bandwidth increasing, and they don't go hand in hand, but they seem to go well. They seem to go well together. They kind of blend. As bandwidth increases, we have the ability to have more choices, and people seem to fold those. They seem to follow that opportunity to the key. But there is a point where one person has a piece in a particular market in the internet world, and then they competition sees that they're doing well and they want a slice of that pie, or they want a market share. Then that's where it gets foggy, because everyone wants to do well and everyone wants to take the world by storm, but everyone seems to be wanting a piece of a particular market that's booming at the time. And once that market steadies and goes into decline, or as the market kind of matures in a way, it kind of the audience size kind of peters out. And I've seen this over my short time in media broadcasting, that I enter a new product into a particular market stream. It booms. It goes in waves. I don't do it for the numbers, by the way. I check the numbers. Gives myself a bit of a surprise sometimes, actually, how many of you actually listen to the show. But kind of it boosts me back up to, what media choices are out there. I have a ton of competition. I mean, just look at the two flagship shows on the Chef Hunter Media Network. Shameless plug, by the way. There's this one, which is a generic live news show. I mean, how many people do you know that do a podcast about anything, and two, a podcast about news? How many news shows can you think of in 10 seconds? A billion of them. But I'm not looking, and that's the problem, mainly because I'm not depending on this as a revenue stream. And that's where things get complicated as well, is that people are depending on this as a kind of revenue stream to depend revenue. But I'm in a billion news shows, but still people have the media choice to listen to this show, or go to listen to a competitor. Like, I listen to competitive news shows to my own. It's not like I'm dedicated to, I don't listen to news shows, I don't listen to movie podcasts. No, that's not how it works. I pick and choose my media. I always have, and I've kind of liked that about the internet, and probably growing up in an internet age, where growing up and becoming an adult in the internet world, kind of like, you can kind of pick and choose which media outlets you can view, you can consume. And in 2015, we are at a point where we're in overconsumption. We overconsume a lot. And that's not necessarily, that is often used in a food sense, but we are in overconsumption mode. Like, we consume like crazy, and we overconsume media to the point where we don't know which media choices we can pick and choose, if that makes any sense at all. But you get what I mean, where hey, overconsumption for the win. I am all in support. Overconsumption for the win. Overconsumption is not a negative thing, but we just are bombarded with media choices. But you've got to take it as, these blogs launched, they were first in their industry, and a bunch of competitors popped up around them, and people like me pick and choose which. I mean, yes, I have my news sites that I use for this show, and I have my leisurely news shows, but I'm off on the go. I'm not sitting down at a computer reading news shows and that sort of thing. I mean, I'm not sitting down, I'm not ingesting newspaper, for example, any more than what I used to. I mean, I pick up a newspaper every now and again, but I'm definitely not I'm definitely not sitting down, injecting media like I used to with a newspaper. I'm now either consuming it audioly, in audio formats, or in kind of in a interactive way by talking to people. I'm consuming my media in more interactive ways than kind of, and I'm seeking it out more so than anything else than kind of, you know, putting in, I'm putting in effort to seek the media that I want to see, not have people force media down my throats. And if I do go to choose, if I choose mass media, and sometimes I'll be in the car, like full disclaimer, I'll be in the car, and yes, I turn on terrestrial radio during the day, mind you, because it's mostly music and force-fed ads. But that's the window of time. That's the period of time that I have chose to consume radio, is between the hours of, say, particularly today, because I was out and about doing, menial jobs, but out and about today doing from 10 to 1. I was out listening to terrestrial radio. And that during that time, that's the media I consumed whilst I was doing other things. It was white noise in the background. But that's the particular thing. And when a market goes into maturity, you just have to keep doing new things other than just doing the same thing to create the same sort of revenue. You have to have a new competitive advantage other than this. We're the new ones in this. Other than this more direct way in where we're going to give you this. No, have a news site where, oh, you're interested in this. We're going to tailor that for you. We're going, based on these suggestions, we're going to give you these media choices. Heck, even having these particular blogs branch out into other areas would have been nice, so they would have had to generate new revenue streams, for example. All right, I have blubbered on a bit more. I'm going to blubber on a bit more after I answer a swab of questions from that have been piling up. I have seen everything that's been hopping up in the Q&A stream, so don't worry, I will get to that. If you saw the Hangout link on social media, please do post your questions there. We'll start with the event page. Nothing there. Good. Let's start with the swath of questions that have been coming into the Q&A feature on the Hangout link. Let me start with this one that says it is in a foreign language, so I don't speak. So I have ran it through Google Translate, and it says, and I roughly translated it to, you read more. I don't know what that's meant to mean. I don't know what that's in reference to, but I don't read as much as, and that's from Bruno. Yeah, Bruno. Thank you for that comment, Bruno. I find that I don't have time to read. I know that's a poor excuse, and I know that's poor, but you've got to. I'm on the move. I seek out the media that I want to read or I want to consume, and we are in choices. We are in overconsumption mode at the moment. I do read a little, but not as much as what I should. This one's from Quinton. Do you speak French? I don't know. No, I do not. Done. This one's from Romy. Do you speak French? No, I do not. Mum says I'm brilliant. Thank you for that one. Did you tell me not to talk to these people? No, these people are watching the show and they're asking questions or commenting, so it's fine. I invited it. So it's not like I'm ignoring it, but I am answering questions from the floor this week. This is fun. I'm saving the really, really good question to last, if you can kind of tell. I don't know whether I have to run through Google Translate. Are you gay? That is a complicated question with a much more complicated answer that will need more than a half an hour time slot to answer. Next one up. Is Apple back to normal? Now, this one I say to last because it's a difficult question. That Apple blog is not official, so it's got nothing to do with Apple. It's something separate from Apple. It's something different from Apple completely. So it's not necessarily a part of Apple, but I will say this: it is a media outlet that Apple did use to get a lot of its news out to the public. So not having that media channel anymore is going to affect them. But they have, like I said, we are in overconsumption mode. They have an array of media outlets media channels that they can use to get their news to the public rather than just using one. But they did use the Apple weblog because it was notable. It was first in its field, and it had been established and it had its audience for a long time. And that is being the status of that blog at the moment is it's being rolled into a quote unquote bigger company. That's all that has been announced on that one. So is Apple back to normal? Yes, I want to say that, but the blog is not, because it's still trying to find a new home and is being rolled into a quote unquote bigger company. Whether Apple acquires it and makes it an official blog, I'm not saying that would be a smart choice on their part, which it would, by the way, Apple, if you're listening. It would be a huge push on their side. That's fun. I might do that more. I might ask questions to the floor and relate it back to the discussion point. That was fun. I might do that more. So if you are listening to the podcast version, please do look for the follow the Google Plus at gplus.to/generic live show, and you will find the social media post, the Hangout post, the video post, and you can participate at 10:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time and ask live questions on the floor. You can be our floor of panelists, our invisible panelists. So I do apologize if I delete if I delete things I do deem not worthy or inappropriate. So, and I just thought I'd bring that gay one up because I had a funny response for it. Anyway, that's going to do it for us. We are a proud member of the Chef Wonder and Geeko podcast networks. chefwonder.squarespace.com/GLS, geek-io.net/GLS. You can support the show at geek-io.net/support. Remember, you can find the I might do that from now on. I might ask live questions. gplus.to/generic live show, youtube.com/generic live show. You can support our Patreon and enable us to do more at patreon.com/geekio. Next week, we will not have a show in the regular time slot, but I am working on a middle of the day episode. So do stay tuned for that. Or a Monday show. I'm thinking more along the lines of a Monday show. Ooh, Monday night. I have Monday night free. No, that would be too soon. I'm thinking Wednesday during the day, maybe 10:30 a.m. rather than 10:30 p.m. Because I have work. Yay! Luckily, I have. I have kind of notice on that one. So, tune in 10:30 a.m. We still answer questions from the floor. We still do our regular lineup, but I think I might make it 10:30 a.m. instead of 10:30 p.m. on Wednesday, because I do have work. So there you go. Thank you for that. Do I have any other questions from the floor before I wrap up? Nope. Good. That's going to do it for us. Thank you everyone for joining us for yet another episode of Generic Live Show. It's been fun. It's a little longer, but I think with the questions and answers and stuff, it'll be a well-fledged, fully fledged episode, and we'll make it more kind of interactive and more one-dimensional newscasty. So I'm liking that change. I'm making changes network-wide. I made a scheduling change for Terrible Tuesday Movie Night, and that has worked tremendously. It's only the first week of it, so it's only up from here. Generic Live Show isn't permanently moving time slots. We'll move time slots here and there to suit, but when we're sticking with Wednesdays, 10:30, either AM or PM. But I'll announce it on the show. Alrighty, thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye. You've been listening to a radio program provided by the Chef Wonder Media Network. For this and other shows, visit chefwonder.squarespace.com. For more radio programs like this one. Copyright 2015. See? 2015.
This has been a Geek.io production. Copyright 2015. Geek.io. Geek Geek.
Yeah, boy. I just realized I was recording that, but that's alright. That was fun. Yeah, I might actually. I'm thinking with a few things with this show. I might actually include. I might include that live commentary. That was fun. That was really fun. I was kind of like this weird second person producer person sitting in the room next door telling me, alrighty, from Russia we have someone asking if you're gay. Question I don't get asked every day. Just kidding. Alrighty. Yeah, how many questions? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 questions that I answered. And many more of that. But anyway. But that's all right. No, I mean, I enjoyed having that. It carries the conversation as well, and I saw them all roll in. I'm like, I just gotta. I might have to arrange it so I invite people to ask questions on the floor, get what I have to say out, close it for that period of time, come back, answer them all in one foul swoop at the end. Unless I have. And that's probably where the show is going to get a bit too long, is when. Oh God, 40 minutes. But no, it's all right. So it's broken up, so it doesn't really matter. But the show was getting a bit. With a show like this one, you have to kind of add something to it to have more substance, and I think random question time is something that will add more substance to it. I hope so. Add more meat onto the skeleton because it is getting quite skeletal-y. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to do post-production work now. Bye, YouTube. Bye.